Live from Cool Boys Central.
You're the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
From bat tips to bat nips, we are just three cool boys revisiting Batman, the animated series, and wearing hats. This is Batman and Beyond, a Cool Boys podcast.
I see Batman and Beyond.
Greetings, Cool Boy Bat Nation, and welcome to another installment of Batman and Beyond, a Cool Boys podcast. I'm Felk.
I'm Ballard. And I'm Steve. So cool.
Tonight's episode is See No Evil, directed by Dan Reba and written by Martin Pasco. This episode aired February 24th, 1993, and features the introduction of Lloyd Ventress. Wikipedia says Lloyd Eddie Ventress is on the verge of losing his daughter, Kimberly, to his ex-wife, Helen, due to his past as a con artist. Determined not to lose Kimberly, Ventress dons a suit stolen from where he used to work on parole.
They pronounce it as Ventress,
which grants the user invisibility, but also becomes highly toxic and poses as Kimberly's imaginary friend, Mojo, while stealing jewelry for her. Batman must solve the mystery crimes and stop Ventress, despite the fact that he cannot even see him. The guy who, Michael Gross, who provided the voice for Ventress, later voiced Warren McGinnis. That must be Terry McGinnis' father, in Batman Beyond.
Wait, Michael Gross? You mean Stephen Keaton?
Michael Gross.
No, he played Stephen Keaton in Family Ties, the dad?
Yeah.
You mean Burt Gummer from Tremors?
Yeah. That's
what?
The voice.
That's the voice of fucking Ventress?
Yeah.
By the way, it is spelled Ventress, but they pronounce it the whole episode as Ventress.
Well, that's dumb.
It is. It's weird. I don't know if the writers and the actor, Michael Gross, I guess, synced up on that one. So
I have another fun fact on the voice actor. The little girl, Kimmy's Elizabeth Moss.
That's fucking crazy.
You know, Mad Men and Handmaidens.
She's a Scientologist.
What? That's crazy. That little voice is fucking. That's like Mojo. Come here, Mojo.
Super young Elizabeth Moss.
She's a weird looking girl. I can never figure out if she's attractive or not.
All right, I'm looking this up. That's crazy.
She was good in Mad Men. I thought she's a good actress.
Great in Mad Men.
She's a really good actress.
Jean Smart is the mom, Helen.
Huh.
Holy shit.
If you're listening, Jean Smart, I'd probably still fuck you. I haven't seen you in a while, though.
Jean Smart is awesome in Legion.
Huh. I did not know she was on Legion. She was great on 24.
She's like she's great on 24. She's like the Professor X type character in Legion.
Yeah, she is good.
She's hot, too. I mean, like, for an old woman, she's really hot. This episode's a fucking, like, full of just, like, a star-studded cast.
Well, I mean, yeah, if Jean Smart is a star.
I get Elizabeth Moss, too.
Well, Elizabeth Moss is a star. Or whatever.
She's something. Well, first off, we have Mojo, right? So Mojo is Kimmy's imaginary real friend. And it's also a great villain setup that this guy is fucking preying on a girl, like a little girl in her bedroom at night.
I found this whole opening pretty creepy, especially having a child of my own.
Yeah, so would you let your daughter watch this, Steve?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But I just thought it was creepy, idea, I guess a separated wife or husband and wife, and I guess it's like he was obviously like abusive or some sort of threatening
shit, dude. This guy got drunk or something, man.
He was doing something.
He beat people, was my guess.
Yeah, it's like starts off with all stalker vibe, and it just goes with it.
It does. Oh, it does. And then it gets into a guy going into a jewelry convention. He goes into the bathroom, locks the bathroom door, and then he puts on this fucking awesome looking animated suit. Puts on the hood, and then boom, he's invisible. And anything he touches, I guess, becomes invisible because he hands himself a briefcase that ends up becoming invisible.
That was, they didn't really explain that part. I felt like, is it like the device that he on his wrist?
Maybe the briefcase has the plastic wrapped around it, and if he touches it, sending electric current, it then becomes invisible.
I thought just the suitcase had that ability.
The car that he's driving, he makes invisible.
Yeah, so that one is clear. he definitely put plastic on the car because as it hits stuff,
It comes off.
the plastic gets ripped off. Yeah. And then what's interesting is since he's locked himself in the bathroom, he's putting on the suit and he's turning this briefcase invisible. A security guard is trying to use the bathroom, but the door's locked. And at first you think maybe the security guard is just trying to like make sure the doors aren't locked. But then Batman or Bruce sees what's going on with this invisible dude. And he goes and changes as Batman in this bathroom. Security guard comes back over again.
He takes forever too.
And he clearly this time isn't just trying to like, make sure no one's screwing around in the bathroom. He has to take a bad shit or something.
I think he was trying to hide. I think he
No
got
way, because he
scared.
stands there next to the door until Bruce Wayne as Batman comes out of the bathroom.
You think that's the joke?
Yeah, I think it's a bathroom joke. I think he had to take a bad piss or shit.
I thought one of the things that was funny though was that how long it took for Bruce to come out as Batman. Usually these things are like they go in and
That's
they come right
Superman.
back out.
That's
even
Superman.
Even with Batman, I feel like
No,
This one
Batman
was
takes
like,
a bit.
He goes in there. I think he took a shit. Like I think that was Batman went in there, took a shit real quick, and then he put on his costume and then went out there and.
He's like, I gotta take care of this, but I gotta shit.
He got kind of scared. There's just floating jewelry going around. He's like, what the fuck? I know I have to do something. Once again, Bruce is just standing around and he just somehow gets involved in, the story.
Right place, right time.
They like to do that a lot. Why is he at this jewelry lot where he's just
Right place, right time.
I thought it was a charity thing. Like they were selling the watches and shit for like some kind of charity event. Because otherwise it was just like a really weirdly busy watch fair.
Jewelry convention.
jewelry mart, I guess.
Yeah, it was very weird. That's not how extremely expensive watches are sold.
No, not at conventions.
Yeah. It looked like a Costco.
So this sets up here. We kind of already established this earlier with ourselves, but we're finally being set up now. Seeing Ventress back in his lair, his really shitty like studio apartment. He is the father of Kimberly, sweet old Kimmy, and this is a evil, crazy dad thriller story like Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has Kindergarten Cop vibes.
Yeah, especially since the second act starts with the mommy and Kimberly being all like, "Hi, mommy, I'm gonna go to school. I love you, mommy." And it's like this happy music, and then it cuts to like evil dad chilling in the car.
I like you, Cindy.
It's kind of a sad story. It's like he's an
Super
ex-con and he just wants to see his daughter, and his bitch wife just fucking won't let him.
Now you're doing the thing you don't like when Ballard does.
No, she clearly, it's her fault. Like, she's really emotional, overly emotional, I would say. Like, and clearly, like, just needs to be reined in a little bit,
They need to explain exactly why she's keeping him away from his daughter. I think every father needs to be around. Just because he was a convicted criminal, he has rights. He's on parole.
I don't think he's ever met his daughter before, right?
Or she blacked it out, or the therapist blacked it out for her so she doesn't remember her father touching her.
Yeah, she hasn't met him because otherwise she'd recognize the voice of Mojo.
Well, she's young.
Yeah, she's
So
never.
let's say he probably saw her like when she was real tiny, and then he went to jail.
Yeah, sure, yeah, but she doesn't know her other way.
Yeah.
She doesn't know him well.
All she knows is that her mom is warped and brainwashed, her into thinking that he's an evil man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all her mom knows is that Kimmy's got a best friend named Mojo that she's not actually investigating at all.
I know that she's just talking to at night. He's like, "Oh, I'm just talking to Mojo."
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the value of having like prison, like work release programs and stuff for prisons and shit, but like maybe secret laboratory building an invisibility suit is not a good place to hire an ex-con who used to steal things as your gopher.
I think it's a great place. They're giving him a second chance. It's Helen's fault.
Was this the first appearance of Lucius Fox?
It is the first appearance of Lucius Fox, yeah.
And he's just a business guy. I don't think he even knows Bruce Wayne's Batman.
I think he comes up.
No, he doesn't.
He comes up later, doesn't he? Or
Maybe
no?
later, but it's not established here when you see when Wayne's walking through like Wayne Tech with Lucius and all that stuff, and they're trying to figure out what happened to this invisibility like plastic.
Yeah.
They do say Lucius, Bruce definitely says Lucius to him, so we definitely established it is Lucius Fox, but it does not seem like this Lucius Fox character understands who Bruce Wayne is after hours. That whole character is regulated to another episode later when you find out that there's a guy that works on Batman's cars.
That's a good one.
It's a great one, and that's Joker or the Penguin. It's the Penguin, right?
Yeah, I think so. Penguin's in that
I
episode.
think it's Penguin. Yeah, it's a Penguin episode. Well, now we're finding out, of course, at Wayne Tech that the prolonged exposure to this plastic that, can turn you invisible also turns you crazy.
Yeah.
Was it crazy or just? I thought it was just poison.
I thought it was just poisoning him.
Seemed like crazy to me.
I took carcinogenic or whatever.
I took it as like crazy and too much will kill you.
I didn't get crazy out of it.
Well, he seems to be acting crazy as fuck.
I mean, he's just, that's why he went to jail.
Yeah, because Helen was egging him on too much.
No, he was robbing liquor stores. They said so. Or robbing
Helen was telling him to do it.
convenience stores.
Helen was like, "You need to get money for us. We can't pay the medical bills for my habits because I need Valium all the time." And he's just like, "What do you want me to do, babe?" And she's like, "I got a gun. Why don't you try getting some money the old-fashioned way?" And he's just like, "No, I don't want to do it." And then she like drove him to the liquor stores,
Wow.
leaving Kimmy at home, right, by herself, unprotected, unguarded.
This sounds like a terrible family.
It does, but it sounds like Helen seems to be the mastermind who somehow escaped prison time.
And now is friends with Batman.
Yeah. And we all know what happens with Batman and mothers.
He comes by and checks on Kimmy.
Batman loves to come by mothers' houses around 5 o'clock.
This is the second episode where at the end it ends with Batman visiting the kid and then having a little visit.
So, Steve, you're saying the Batman always rings twice? That's an old-timey joke for you millennial Cool Boy Nationers.
I'm starting to think so.
Wait, what? Say that one more time. I'm sorry. Say that one more time for me, please.
The Batman always rings twice?
Yeah, okay. That's not for millennials.
No, I said that's an old-time joke for you millennials. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, now I see.
Like, there's no way you're gonna get this because not a fucking single millennial's probably seen The Postman Rings Twice or Always Rings Twice or even knows what the fuck that's about if they even heard that title. They're probably like, "Oh, it's probably about mail."
I've heard it referenced in other things, but I'm not familiar with it.
Well, you know what it's about, right?
Fucking a postman?
Yes.
Yeah, that's hot.
Sweet.
Is it a comedy?
No.
Oh.
Dramedy.
This is about Batman fighting a guy with an invisibility suit.
Oh, so then, okay, so Helen just realizes that Kimmy was kidnapped by Mojo, right? And then Batman stops by, and he's all like, "What happened?" And he's got his Batman instincts going. And then Helen's freaking the fuck out, and she's like clearly looking for a shoulder to cry on. And then as soon as she turns to Batman for that shoulder, he's out. He's gone.
Batman was talking with her for a little bit before then. They were both Batman was there when Kimmy got kidnapped. It was like on
Oh yeah.
their watch.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "I just saw her 5 minutes ago," so he knew, it was a hot lead, so he had to get out of there.
I think Bat just knew, this bitch is crazy and she's gonna cry on you for a little bit, and that's not gonna be good.
I don't really like the criminal who's like just trying to do it for their daughter or son, who maybe that the kid's sick, like Sandman, like in Spider-Man 3.
But Sandman, you actually empathize with Sandman. There's no empathy here with Ventress.
No, that's what I'm saying. I like that this one is like, no, he's not good. He's the bad one, and like there's other examples of this too, where like you kind of eventually realize like, oh, he's bad, but there's no really empathizing with this character. He's just
it's like Kindergarten Cop. Like, it's a bad guy.
Yeah,
they play the music and the cues enough to tell you that he's not a good guy.
Yeah,
and he's threatening. I
like how Kimmy won't get in the car because she's like, people won't like it because I'll be in a car and no one's driving and they won't see you or whatever. and he's like, "Wait, what if I show you my face?" And he like takes off his Jimmy hat, and she's just like, no strangers. Like, Kimmy's got good instincts. I like this Kimmy girl.
She does. She is not a stupid kid and knows that like her dad is bad based on what she's been raised. That she don't give a care. By the way, I'm also gonna I'm gonna say Mojo, but I'm gonna do everything I can to not put the "Pray for Mojo" clip from The Simpsons into this episode, because that's when The Simpsons got bad.
Mojo, what have they done to you? Pray for Mojo.
Pray for Mojo.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think they're bad then. They were getting bad.
That was the diminishing quality. That was 10th or 11th season.
Definitely diminishing returns for sure.
Yeah. Kimmy, whatever the fuck her name is, she's got good instincts.
Kimberly.
She doesn't fuck up. But I kind of disagree with you though. I hated the whole Sandman arc. Like I was just like, this is, you like said you empathize with him, but I was like, this is so set up and shit. Like it would have been way more interesting if like I still can't tell if it's a little girl or a little boy. That little androgynous child he has is like
girl.
Fooled me. She is like, oh, Dad, you just care about me and my heart. Like if she had just said, oh, you're bad. Mom said you're bad. Like, and then Sandman's like, I'm gonna go fuck up Spider-Man, and I'm not gonna apologize. Oh yeah, I killed Uncle Ben. I fucking was hard when I did it. Like he would have been a much better villain, but because they kind of do the sympathetic route, it's not as fun.
Yeah, I almost wonder if like they went sympathetic from the get-go, or if that was something that kind of eventually made its way into the script because they're adding Venom in, and they were like, well, we can't have two just like evil characters. I have to assume that Sam Raimi did want Sandman to be someone you empathize with, though. I do think that is intentional from the get-go.
The transformation scene is actually really beautiful.
It is. So I like how he's like essentially they molecular destruct him or deconstruct him molecularly.
Yeah.
And then how they build him, like how he constructs himself.
Yeah, that scene is really well. It's a good score.
Great special effects still hold up really well.
Yeah.
And like when he goes for the locket with his sand hand and he touches it and his hand goes through the locket, like I loved that. That's hardcore. That's very well done. And the Sandman origin. What we're seeing right now also is very hardcore. Is in this episode, we have Batman fighting Ventress with a hoodie on, of course. So that means that he is full on.
He's invisible.
Invisible, and he can come inside you any second. And then for Batman has to fight this crazy guy off. Then Ventress hops in a car. Batman hops on top of it. As we mentioned earlier, the car hits some things, and it starts to reveal that the car that was invisible is no longer becoming invisible. It's showing, the parts of damage and the plastic is ripping off. And then it gets in into a train track, hits a fucking train at full speed. Ventress jumps out and Bat jumps out. I was loving that shit. Like, I really loved the way that thing was full on into that train.
When Bruce is like talking to that scientist about their invisible cloak or whatever, he's like, oh yeah, a few things were missing. This looks like a lot more than just a few. Like, he was able to cover a car in this plastic, and
yeah, I think I know what you're saying. I think what you're saying is that this doctor probably got a few visits from Helen, and she was like, fucking him to get a couple extra plastics on the side, and then Ventress took it from her.
Wait, you think Helen is involved?
I think Helen probably. Interesting.
I think the doctor and the thief are involved.
Oh, I see. I thought the doctor was just being taken advantage by Helen and Ventress.
No, Helen's a good person.
Well, then Ventress does get found by Batman because Batman hits a water tower and it fucking rains, and Batman can see Ventress and he goes peekaboo, and then he practically fucking knocks him the fuck out. But then we got to Mojo-esque scene with Kimberly again, talking to somebody, and Helen comes bursting in. She's like, who are you talking to? And she's like, oh, just another one of my imaginary friends, Batman. And like, Helen hasn't learned anything.
More importantly, this is establishing like the third or fourth time that Batman has just like checked in on a child without their parent knowing about it.
That's what Steve's saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then afterwards, he goes and visits the parent. These are all single parents. These are all single moms.
They are all single moms.
That's true.
He's going. He's like, hey, how's it going, little one? Go to bed. And then he goes into their house and gives them a little visit.
Steve, you could almost say this could be called The Batman Always Rings Twice.
I think so.
That's a joke for you millennials, but you probably won't understand because it's so old. 1946. I had one last thing about this episode I wanted to mention. Does it feel like the writer of this episode, Martin Pasco, may have been going through a messy divorce at this time? and maybe the writer's voice was Ventress, and we were hearing the writer get his aggressions out about what he was going through with his wife or ex-wife at the time?
Temple of Doom honestly is now, I think, my favorite indie movie. And it's like, Spielberg and Lucas dismissed that because like it's in the making of or the retrospective. Like, well, we were both getting divorced at the time. So, like, it was a darker movie because we were both getting divorced at the time. It's like I love
Spielberg
that.
was getting his fucking hard on going with that like gorgeous Kate cap shot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they both ended up. I don't really know. Lucas might actually be asexual. Who knows?
Isn't that when Lucas was fucking Oprah?
Was Lucas ever confirmed as fucking Oprah?
I thought he fucked Oprah like a bunch.
He's got it. I mean, he likes brown sugar. That's definite.
Oh yeah, sweeter the berry, or was it the darker the berry, sweeter the juice?
Yeah, I've never heard that before. I forget what I was saying. Who cares anymore? Great bad stuff, gentlemen.
Guys, I'm looking up Martin Pasco's history right now, and as what I'm seeing, it doesn't seem to be going through any divorce at that time this series came out. But I will say, maybe that's because he had it expunged.
You can't do that.
You can find out when people get divorced. How would you know that?
If it was in Wikipedia.
How would you know? like that's all right. Whatever.
Wikipedia talks about some people's divorces.
If they're like super famous and it's like a
Hey, Martin Pasco, maybe by chance.
Wikipedia might have information on Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt getting divorced, but not the director of one Batman episode.
The writer.
I don't think that if they did, that'd be super scary. Then it's like someone close to him that's like written on there, like, and he's a fucking asshole, you know?
Remember when Martin got fucking divorced in 1992? And all he kept saying was that his bitch ass wife, Helen, kept fucking, Helen, you say?
Yeah, I feel like I don't think I think this was just like you said, it was more like a kindergarten cop sort of divorce ex-cop thing.
Well, it's a great child fantasy kids have, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
You know, dad's evil, might kidnap me someday. I might have to do something about it. Batman will come, or Arnold will come. Like, it's a great fantasy kids live.
I have my what was it in that movie? He had like these fake traps or something that were all like foil or something.
Oh yeah. So he had the foil shit up in the electrical tower. Yeah.
I remember when I was like little and I watched it, I was like, is he like retarded? Like, what is he?
Wait, weren't they radar dishes he was building or something?
I give this episode 3 boys.
All right. How many boys do you give it? Why? Why 3 boys?
I thought it was entertaining. I liked how dark the fucking villain was.
Yeah, totally. Dark, entertaining villains. I love them.
Yeah. And if you're ever fighting someone invisible, you use sprinkler system. You make it rain.
Yeah, we learned a lot. Or you try to get pink paint on them and just hope they can't burn it off.
Another educational moment where like the guy, when he was fighting Batman where Batman got bested in the first act, and he was like, the ceilings are high or something, so my voice echoes. So
oh yeah,
a little education there. But I kind of give it 2 stars. I was kind of bored by it.
Oh, I loved it. 5 out of 5 boys for me.
Wow, another 5 out of 5.
Generous.
Yeah, and for me also, I would have to say like finding out Michael Gross
Jeez.
was the dad. It was like a great. He played against type. I mean, Family Tie's dad, Stephen Keaton, is now the fucking evil Ventress dad, Lloyd Ventress, and also Burt Gummer as a favorite. Elizabeth Moss. I'm a huge Mad Men fan, so that's great to hear and find out. That made it even better. And then I love Jean Smart from 24, and I'm really digging her in Legion.
So your favorite thing about this episode is other things the people involved with it have done?
And, no, and I love the fantasy. I was a little boy, Ballard.
Yeah.
I was baby boy Ballard watching this, and I remember seeing like the evil dad character, and I was like, oh my god, wouldn't that be crazy? Like if you had an evil dad character and you like kidnapped me, he's invisible.
Great bat stuff, gentlemen. Cool Boy Nation, tune in next week. Same Cool Bat time, same Cool Bat channel. Cool Bat Nation, be sure to let us bat know what you bat thought of See No Evil, or what your favorite bat episode is by bat emailing us at batmanandbeyondcoolboys@gmail.com. New episodes of Batman and Beyond come out every Thursday. Also, please check out our other great Cool Boy Central content with The Cool Boys Podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Patreon, where the Cool Boys have an uncensored discussion about 5 so cool movies, everything ranging from bods to dongs and all the boners they have given us. Be Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Cool Boys Podcast and Facebook group us at the Cool Boys Podcast. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube by searching for the Cool Boys Podcast. And be sure to rate and review us on iTunes at the Cool Boys Podcast. And if you like, you can donate to us on Patreon and receive additional episodes of Cool Boys After Dark and a Cool Boy shout out on the Cool Boys Podcast that airs every Tuesday. You can find the Cool Boys on Patreon at patreon.com/coolboyspodcast. Thank you for listening. Stay cool, Cool Boy Nation. Until next time, it's Byzies from Felk.
That's Byzies from Ballard.
And Byzies from Steven.
So cool.
Batman
And beyond. Oh, yeah. Batman.
and beyond.
Oh, yeah.